Hey, I want to thank you for watching my video today. Today, I want to continue my series in the Sermon on the Mount by looking at Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 and 2. These are passages that most of us know. Even if you've never read the Bible or even gone to church, everyone seems to know the saying, don't judge lest you be judged. In fact, many will tell you that if you try to bring some correction into their lives or try to help them out. But is that really what it means when Jesus says, do not judge? There's deeper meaning behind that than what most people tend to think of when they say that. In fact, later in this same section, Jesus talks about discerning or judging those who are or aren't believers to know whether or not they are. We're called to discern whether a message is from God or not from God. We're called by Jesus and also by Paul and the other apostles to judge those within the church or discern or to correct those within the church who may be going astray, to bring them into correction, to bring them into discipline, so that they can grow in their faith, so they can become strengthened by the correction. When Jesus says, do not judge, what does he mean? Well, let's look at what he actually said. In Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 and 2, he said this, do not judge so that you won't be judged, which is most of us have heard that. For you will be judged by the same standard with which you judge others, and you will be measured by the same measures you use. Jesus is saying here that we need to be careful how we judge. He's talking about the same thing he talked about when he talked about prayer, when he talked about fasting, when he talked about giving. Where's the heart? What's the motive? Is it about me or is it about the other individual? Is it about me or is it about furthering the kingdom of God? Is it about me or is it about the individuals I'm trying to help? And that's the attitude or the understanding we need to have when it comes to judging. Is judging wrong? No, but if we are doing it with the wrong motives, if we are doing it the wrong way, it is wrong. And then we will be judged in accordance with how we judge others. Let me put it in terms that maybe you'll understand. I understand it from coaching. But as a coach, it's very easy to watch young players who come in, especially when I'm dealing with freshmen and sophomores. It's very easy to look at someone and go, well, that kid can't play. And I've been guilty of doing that throughout my years. Now, thankfully, I never stand on that. And every time I've said that, at least the majority of the times I've said that, I've found myself being wrong in that initial judgment, that initial placing of value on someone. And see, that's the key. When you place value on someone, or if you devalue someone based on what they are doing, that is what Jesus is talking about when he says, do not judge. It should never be about placing value on someone. It should never be about saying that someone is not as good as I am because they did this or that. So with that in mind, we need to start asking ourselves the question, when I see someone do something wrong, do I look at them differently because of what they've done? And if you do, then you have already judged them. But if you look at them and say, oh, they need to make some corrections in their lives, and you humbly go to them to make those corrections, that is not judgment. That is actually the act of building that individual up. As a coach, when I see someone who's struggling with playing, I can either say, oh, they're no good and just place a value on them from day one and forget about them, or I can coach them up. And that's what corrections are in the faith. We are coaching our fellow believers up into growth in Jesus Christ. And when we approach judgment from the idea of building up and correcting in a way that brings them to growth and maturity, then that is good. But when we look at a Christian and see someone do something wrong and say, oh, I can't believe they're a Christian, how could they do that? And somehow devalue them because of something, a mistake they've made. Maybe they only made that mistake once, or maybe they're struggling with something. But we place a value on them based on something we see, then that is a judgment that Jesus is talking about that we should not do. Here's a little rule of thumb that I have in my life. If you are eager to go tell someone something they're doing wrong, chances are you're doing it with the wrong motives. But if it breaks your heart to have to go to them and share with them something that they are doing wrong, if it hurts you as much as it might hurt them to tell them what they're doing wrong, then your motive is correct. And through your humility and through your own brokenness, you can help them to be lifted up and grow in their faith. Are you placing value on someone, or are you helping someone be raised up in their faith by helping them, by coaching them, by correcting them in the way they need to go in their life? in following Jesus Christ. I hope that makes sense. To just blanketly say that we should not judge is incorrect. We should discern. We should correct. We should discipline, but it should be done with humility. It should be done with brokenness. It should be done with the goodness of the individual in mind and not to make ourselves look better. I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps you to understand a passage that is so often misinterpreted in the scriptures. Hey, if you watch this video to the end, I encourage you to hit the like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our different platforms, because through following us and through liking our videos and through making comments on those videos, you help those videos to be spread to more and more people. And as our numbers continue to grow and those who are watching them, that means more and more people are going to have the opportunity to see and hear what we have to say here at The Way. And if you're in the Sandwich area this Sunday, I encourage you to come and join us this Sunday.